evening. We're glad to see you here. If you want to rename yourselves and then introduce yourselves in the chat, maybe where you're from, what team you're part of, that would be amazing. We're so excited to have you all here. So feel free to do that at your convenience. All right. I think we have a few more. Okay. All right. All right. Just a reminder for those coming in, feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat, where you're located, what team you're part of, and whatever else you would like to share. Hi, good morning. Good morning. All right. All right. We have two more. Okay. Hello. Hi, Mohammed. We will be recording this session. We'll be sending the recording to all team members. So don't worry about that. That will be sent out. All right, so let's get started. My name is Maddie. I am the program coordinator for the Global Business School Network. We are so happy to have you here. We will be recording this session, sending it to all of you. You're welcome to ask us questions. This may not take the entire time, or it may, because we will be leaving time for all of you to ask questions. If you feel more comfortable doing so in the chat, feel free to ask questions in the chat. If you feel more comfortable asking questions over email and would prefer to do that, you can do so after the session as well. But we are just going to jump right in with some exciting numbers that we have for this year, because this is our second inaugural Africa Business Concept Challenge. And with that, this year we have 78 teams, 293 students, 46 schools in 17 countries. So congratulations, everybody. Thank you for being here. We're so glad to have you. Additionally, a couple of reminders. We do need everybody's correct email addresses, and that is very important to get you on the Peaks platform. So if you have received a notification from myself, from Daniela, please respond accordingly. And then second reminder, we still are looking for introductory videos from your teams. We're happy to receive those and post them on our social media. We're happy to share those on our localized platform, and you can submit those at any time. Those are going to be separate from the required video at the end of your project. So at this time, I would like to open the floor to our CEO, Dan LeClaire, just to say a few welcoming words, and then we will go to Peaks.
Hey, thank you so much, Maddie. And yes, indeed, those are exciting numbers. We're thrilled that each and every one of you has decided to join this challenge. And the one thing that I always like to emphasize is that it's a challenge, it's a competition. But for us, it's much more than that. It's an opportunity to support you and to help you to develop not only additional insights about businesses you want to create, insights about creating new businesses in general, but we also like this as an opportunity for you to connect, for others to get to know you, for others to connect with you, and for new ideas to emerge. So please do not hesitate to introduce yourself in the chat right now. Connect through not only Peaks, but also through Localized, you'll learn more about today, and develop relationships. The kind of connections you develop will be there to serve you for a lifetime. So we're thrilled again that you'll join us for the next several weeks as in the Africa Business Concept Challenge, and I look forward to meeting all of you throughout the experience.
Thank you, Dan. At this time, I'm going to pass it on to Peaks, and then afterwards we'll just review some dates and review Localized and open for questions. So Peter.
Thank you, Maddie. And it's good to see all of you. We're really excited to be part of the second round as well of the ABCC. And yeah, it's just good to know that we have participants from so many countries and so many institutions, and yeah, it's going to be a great ride. And as Dan said, we will be arriving at great results as well. So I'm here today to talk about the Peaks platform that we have co-founded, or that I've co-founded only a few years ago. And maybe just to give you guys some background, it was a platform designed with two purposes in mind. And one was, of course, the educational one, to train the entrepreneurial mind and yeah, have a test bed where people can try out their ideas and learn in an academic way, but also, as we are experienced with GBSN, as a small incubation space where you guys can have your concepts built into real business plans and have feedback from a whole host of industry experts and academic advisors from across the globe. So I think the best way I can let you in on what Peaks is about is sharing my screen now.
Maddie, you have to make him a co-host to allow him to let his screen share.
Yeah, it's
All right, there you go. Aisha, I see you're here as well, so if you need to, I'll make you co-host.
is my screen arriving with the rest of you?
No, we don't see anything, Peter.
Okay. Oh no.
Not a problem. Aisha, you're welcome to share your screen as well if you also have the presentation.
No, I think Aisha, if you can log into last year's game, then that would be actually a great help. It would differ a bit from my presentation, but that's all right.
Thank you all, everyone, by the way, for introducing yourselves. We're really excited to see all your names in here. And also a reminder that we are going to take questions after everything. So if you can just hold on to your questions, we can take them in the chat, and we can also take them over video as well.
2 seconds and I will be there. There.
That's so nice. Thanks a lot, Aisha. Okay, so this is the market page that all of you will be familiar with in a week's time when you onboard your the game next week. And what you see here is a landing page that's locked behind a email password, and that's the importance. That's the reason why Maddie just stressed that you guys need to send in the correct emails so that you'll be joining from the proper vantage point. Once you're inside the platform and inside this the game GBS Africa Business Challenge, mind you, this is last year's competition, then you'll be able to start up your assets and start producing your concept and evolving it according to the competition. So on the top hand, you see the current stock market valuation. So we've built in a game simulated stock market feature. So a number of investors, they can arrive into the game and buy and sell your ideas according to their interest. mind you, it's not an accurate valuation of your business idea or in any sense something that's other than a gamified way of showing interest and showing trends within the platform and the community you are developing your project in. And so you can see it as a way of getting feedback from the community of investors, and apart from buying and selling your projects, they can also provide you comments, but that goes on within the actual concept. So if you move it down a bit, Aisha, thanks a lot. Then you have these all the projects from last year. They're here on an easy overviewable way. You can see all the projects as these tiny baseball cards, and you'll be able to see what goes on with your with the other teams in the program. And I really encourage you guys to take a look at what goes on with your neighbor, because maybe they're onto something. They're probably not doing the same project or developing the same product as you guys are, but you can still see how they're formulating their business ideas, and if they're really getting interest and traction with all the investors, that might be a way to go and try to emulate that into your own project. So if we have a look at last year's winner, Aquatech Farmers, you can see that it's a project that goes over 4 phases. And as you might have seen in all the invitation materials, you'll be filling out your project over a 4-phase timeline. So Aisha is just highlighting the 4 individual phases. So they could move over initial concept and arrive at the end at a go-to-market plan. And all these 4 phases, they will only open according to that plan that's been set out. That means you'll be working in phase 1 for the first period, and after that, phase 2 will open. But mind you, you can still use all the valuable feedback you get during your phase 2 to go back and mend or improve phase 1. So it's always about going back and reiterating and getting your project formulation just right. So phase 1 is very conceptual. It's your initial idea. It's how presenting your project and also presenting your team. And that might seem secondary, but actually it's quite important for an investor to see who's behind a project. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? Could they use some mentoring in one way or the other? That will be obvious from the profiles that are put into the team profile. And moving across the phases, the first phase is very conceptual. The second phase is about the industry analysis, seeing how can you put this project into a more commercial setting, summarizing the industry dynamics and putting in a competitor analysis and uploading an illustration of that. And you can see there's more to phase 2. Summarizing, can you just stay there for 1 second, Aisha? So just to make it clear, as you arrive in this as an entrepreneur and as a team, you will only be seeing the headlines here. So you'll only be seeing summarized customer dynamics, illustration 2 and 3, customer segmentation. The rest of it is up to you guys to fill in. So this is the winner from last year and how they went about it and what they filled into the platform. And as you can see, it's not a ton of words. It's not a long dissertation. It's actually quite short and sweet. And that's how an investor will like it at this point. Because mind you, they'll be looking at a number of different projects. So the sharper this presentation can get, the better. All right, moving on to phase 3. So this is an area where you could upload your 3D drawings, your mock-ups, yeah, all that live rich media content that you want to present your product in. So this phase will support video, slideshow, pictures, and it's a really good way to getting visual about your idea. And perhaps you're already at a stage where, at this point, where you can flesh it out a bit more and move into that type of presentation. And finally, you have your go-to-market phase. That's about putting in all that those good thoughts on how you will approach this great concept in a commercial way, how will you get it into the market, your pricing structure, can you open one of them? Thank you. How much time will you need to get it into a market ready fit, and the funding needed to approach it. And that's basically the experience. We've tried to build this platform so it's very simple to grasp and go about. If you have any needs for the technical assistance, we have a YouTube channel with a number of videos that can guide you. You'll also receive emails whenever each phase opens, and we have links to those videos within those emails, so they'll be served basically directly to you. Oh, and let's not forget the commenting section on the top here. So in each project, there's a wall where investors can leave comments and mentors can leave comments to you guys. But don't hold back if you have some great ideas or great comments for some of your colleagues out there who are also being entrepreneurs on the platform. Just write them a few words and they will engage and get back to you, and you can start a conversation. And it's all about the project and it's all about the product. So it will only help you guys get better if you start communicating with your student colleagues, even though you're not probably building the same project or not even in the same industry. I believe there's learnings to be had, right? And then there's the final section here, the resources. And last year we were not too big on information on this one, but that will evolve this year. So this year we'll have resource videos and a reading list to go with it that you can get inspired by, also in order to arrive at the best possible project in the end. So that's basically describing the platform, and moving back to the market page. Thanks, Aisha. And maybe even moving back into well, I have one last comment. You can also keep track of who's the top investor and who's the top performing project on the platform up in the top right-hand corner. So it's always there available, and you can see what goes on. On the technical side, I think we're stressing it quite often, but it cannot be said enough. In order to engage properly with the platform, you need to work in a Chrome browser. So it's the Chrome browser that will support all the features of the platform. And you can also buy and sell actually from your phones. So it should be pretty straightforward going from here. So that's pretty much it, Maddie. I hope you can open the Q&A, or I can move on with the agenda as you see fit.
Thank you, Peter. We're just going to move on. Just a couple of reminders also on this game. We will be having 2 separate parallel games. You have all been randomly assigned to these games. They are equal. And 3 of the top teams will be selected from those games to make up the top 6 teams for the second round, which is that pitch presentation live to those judges over Zoom. For more questions, you can consult your handbook. I'm happy to answer on that. And also a few more reminders on dates. So phase 1 opens March 23rd and closes March 24th. That may seem quickly, but that is essentially your team introduction and your concept, which you have already, most of you have already provided already in your registration. So it's just more of a copy and paste. From there, phase 2 opens March 26th and closes March 30th. Phase 3, 4, and that final video opens April 4th, closes April 10th. I want to point out that you can use those in-between dates where there will be investors investing to prepare your materials for the next phase. Additionally, Nicole, please correct me if I'm wrong, the market does open a day in advance, so you can see some of those materials ahead of time. At this time, I'm going to actually pass it on to Nicole to review the localized platform with you and to cover any reminders that she deems as necessary as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Maddie. So just to confirm, so the market opens on March 23rd, which is the day before our kickoff event. So, during the kickoff, we want you to comment or let us know if you are having trouble getting on the platform. That just kind of gives us at least a day for you to attempt receiving the email, logging in, and getting set up. So that is correct. The market will open one day before the kickoff. Okay, so my part is to show you the localized platform, which is our chosen platform for communications throughout the competition. So let me just share my screen here. All right. So this view is the dashboard. This is my dashboard. So when you log in to your localized profile, this should be what you see. On the left side, you'll see memberships and you'll only see GBSNs. So you can click on that. So two things are important for the competition. The first is the main channel. So the Africa Business Concept Challenge main channel. This is the public channel where judges, investors, all of the student teams, as well as the competition organizers are essentially convened into this group. This is where we'll post announcements, reminders of deadlines. We'll post updates to what's happening in the stock market. We'll post resources. We have encouraged the judges and the investor experts to interact with all of you in this channel, providing guidance, tips, tools, any resources they have. This is an optional thing for them, so it is being encouraged, but it's essentially the central place where the entire community, the competition community, will convene. It's also the place that you can reach us here under community chat. You can submit questions. So you can see here, Maddie has already started, and Zainab has submitted a question. So this is another area you can reach us if you're not sending an email. In addition, each student team receives a private channel to work in during the competition, essentially. So I'm going to show you an example of Team and Adroit from Lagos Business School. Daniela has created this. This is a team that's participating this year. So you can see, one follower. So this gentleman is part of the team. We expect all team members to essentially accept the invitation to follow their channel. That way that they can interact. Daniela has posted this welcome message, essentially letting you know that the channel allows you to post videos, links, images, or even documents or comments to each other. So it's really a place for you to work on your content before uploading it to the Peaks platform. So let's say you're going back and forth with some edits and one person's doing one part, another person's doing another part. This is kind of where you collaborate before the final version that you create is uploaded to the Peaks platform. So just to confirm, the Peaks platform is where you upload all your final content. This is simply just where you can work together. It also has a Zoom integration. So you can start and create Zoom calls to have with each other. When you click this button, it only will invite people in your team that are in the channel because it's a private channel. So no other team can see your channel or what's happening in your channel. The only people that can see what's happening are people like myself, Maddie, and Daniela, the conference organizers, the competition organizers. So you won't have to worry about, making any information public on your project or whatnot before you want it to. And so we also encourage you to invite, if you have any faculty mentors that you're working with, or just anyone from your institution that's helping you throughout the process. We encourage you to invite them to the channel as well. And this is also a place that they can join a Zoom meeting with you guys every so often and go over your project. Essentially it's pretty self-explanatory. Resources, will be uploading the student handbook to this section. So you can see I can add the document here. We'll be doing that for each team channel, and you'll be able to access it there as well. So we really encourage you to use the channel because it is a great place to have your content organized, and as well as having a space virtually that's private for your team. Okay, lastly, I just want to talk about the localized platform in general. So as a value add of participating in the competition, you essentially get complimentary membership to the localized platform. Localized is a career development platform that's global. So essentially you can see here, there's events featured on localized. They have a ton of events that happen each week focused on different industries as well as different aspects of career preparedness. So you can just, scroll through anything that you might be interested in, click on the event page, you can register, read more about it, submit a question, add it to your calendar, et cetera, et cetera. See, they have different events with different industry experts as well. In addition, they have a career coach that's on hand that you can access. And this career development platform is different in the sense that it has a social aspect to it. So it has this channels feature. Essentially, channels are created by different industry experts the platform has recruited to engage on the platform. And so, you can see our channels, which are teams, but other channels are focused on specific topics. So blockchain and cryptocurrency, careers and human resources. And these channels include a lot of different people. You can see 600 people follow this channel. There's a variety of experts here. And this channel is hosted by Localized itself. So they post regularly information, tools and tricks, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a great resource for you to use Localized outside of the competition as well. In addition, Localized typically hosts 2 to 3 career fairs, virtual career fairs per year. So if you complete your profile fully, so you can see my profile, complete your bio, add your YouTube, your LinkedIn, do it to the best, your education, et cetera, recruiters can recruit you not only in career fairs, but simply just being active on the platform. So you can be recruited at any time by an employer that's on the platform that's maybe doing silent recruiting or whatnot. So I encourage you to complete your profile to the best of your ability and, explore the platform outside of the competition and utilize all of the resources that you have available. Because again, by participating in the competition, you receive complimentary access to the platform for the year. So it's not going to log you out or lock you out after the competition's over. You'll still have access to your profile. If you have any questions about Localized, you can email Daniela. She's the go-to GBSN staff member that is handling the Localized platform. She'll be the one you see posting to the main channel for the most part, as well as Maddie and myself. But yeah, if you have any tech difficulties or anything like that, reach out to Daniela or any of us. I think that's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Nicole. And so now we're going to open it up to all of you to ask questions. Feel free to do so in the chat. If you don't feel comfortable, feel free to email me as well. So I think, yeah. Does anyone have any questions at the moment? No questions?
I'm sorry, do we need to open our mics or just text our question?
Whatever is easiest for you. You can do whatever is easiest. Do you have a question?
Yes, please. I tried to log into the Peaks platform, but they ask for a address, email, and a password.
Right. So Aisha has not invited all of you yet, I believe. Is that what it is? Aisha, can you confirm?
Yeah, I will be adding you guys on the 21st, and then you will 21st, 22nd, you will be getting your email invitation.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Yes, but you can, I believe, watch videos and prepare that way as well.
Definitely.
So if you have any questions before that, please let us know. I see someone else had unmuted themselves.
Really quick, Maddie, before you go on. So that is the reason why we are opening the market a day before the kickoff. So the market opens the 23rd. The kickoff is the 24th. Aisha just said that the invitations will go out the 20th, 21st. So there's some buffer time to make sure that by the 24th, You have all been able to access the platform and any tech difficulties have been kind of ironed out.
Thank you, Nicole. And I know a question came in privately. Will this recording be sent? Yes, this recording will be sent to all of you. Simram has inputted a question for phase 1. Can we have a written introduction? And we have to include the entire project in brief, right? We can work further after that, correct? Yes, so Aisha, Peter, correct me if I'm wrong, they can always go back and update their phases from previous phases. Awesome, okay. So yes, that is correct. As stated before, there are a few teams who have not inputted their or have introduced us to their concepts yet. Just make sure that you do so for phase 1, or we cannot have our investors invest in your idea. So that is a reminder. Nicole?
Yeah, I just want to clarify too. So the reason why we asked you to have a problem statement during the registration is so that you are thinking about your project concepts, and that by the time the competition starts, you guys have already kind of thought through this. You have a drafted problem statement, et cetera, et cetera. So you have a good kind of starting point. As Maddie had said, when phase 1 opens, you upload your problem statement and your team introduction. The phase closes, and then there's an investment round. So the investors will be investing in between the deadlines. So phase 1 opens, you submit, you close. They invest based on what you first submitted, but based on what happened during the investment round. Let's say you didn't really get as many investments as you would have liked to see, or some comments were left on your project by some investors. You can then, once phase 2 opens, you can always go back to phase 1 and amend your problem statement or whatever it is in that previous phase. The reason why you would want to do this is because you do want your final product, right, after all phases are done, to be the best that it can be, because investors will continue to follow your projects as each phase goes along. So another thing to note, each project starts with 100 credits, valuation credits, and each investor receives 10,000 credits. And they can spend that, they can invest or divest as they see fit throughout each of the investment rounds per phase. But they can only invest in one project per phase. So just so you understand what actions that they can take and you can anticipate or follow along. Aisha, sorry. Yes, please go ahead.
They can invest once per project in each phase. So they can technically invest in several projects in one phase, but they only have the 10,000 credits in total.
Thank
Exactly.
you. Thank you both. And I know we have pestered Danielle and I many teams for their ideas, and this is simply to help you in advance so that you don't have to put more work in during that first phase, because we know getting on peaks can be a little bit of a learning curve. And I do have to let you know that we have seen such wonderful ideas. All of you are so creative, and we are just so excited to see how your ideas grow. Thank you. Do we have additional questions?
I have a question in regards to the introductory video. Do we have like a deadline that the one that's going to be posted on social media? Like, do we have a deadline to submit it, or it's okay anytime?
So I would like to say that the deadline is the kickoff event, but of course we'll take your videos afterwards. There is, we not only post it to social media, but when the virtual award ceremony comes about, we like to do like a combination video featuring clips from each introductory video team, so that, you know, we kind of reflect back on who's participating and we celebrate during that virtual award ceremony after the competition is ended. So try and have them submitted by the 24th. But of course, you know, if you need a little bit more time, we'll still take your videos, of course.
Got you. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. Do we have additional questions?
Yes. Thank you so much. My name is Elisha Trevor, representing the DHP platform, straight out from Rwanda. And as you know, the startup business, mostly we have various participants. So it becomes a problem when you get for the group members. But can you please help us to get those application forms so that should help to considering all information with those people we've applied together with. Thank you so much.
Hi, Alicia. Can you clarify your question one more time? Is this regarding the localized platform, or is this regarding the Peaks platform in general?
Yeah, it's this program in general, of course, because we have to start by organizing those members so that we can create those videos in order to have a well structured video to post on your social media as you've been active.
Maddie, I think Alicia, you're referring to fellow teammates that you may not have included in your registration form initially, and that you would like to get set up on everything for the competition. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Alicia, if you can send Maddie, Daniela, and I an email after this session is over with the names and the email addresses of your teammates that you would like to add and get set up, and we can go from there.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Apologize for the background noise. I noticed someone else had unmuted themselves for a question. I don't know where they went. Yes, Ola.
Yes, hello everyone. I have a question just to make sure that I understand it well. So for the PICS, we have like only one team member who will be registered and like working on that site. And for the dashboard, it's a place for all team members to like communicate and participate with other teams. Is that correct?
Aisha, can you confirm?
You can all of the team members having access to your project can edit in the project. You cannot edit in text boxes at the same time, but you can edit in several areas at the same time. And you all have access to the market page as well with all the different projects.
And for localized, that is correct. All team members have access to the platform and your private channel to collaborate. And just to iterate Aisha's comment about Peak, so everyone will have access. And yes, you can't edit the same box, but also make sure that, you know, whoever is saving last has the most updated version that you want to be saved on the platform. So you just, it's kind of a timing thing. So just make sure that typically, I think team members assign per phase one person to do the final upload, so that there's no confusion with what version you're editing and saving. But yeah, everyone will have access to Peaks, so you can follow along.
Ola, does that
Okay,
make
thank you.
sense?
Yeah, so far, yes.
Okay. I see there's a question about the prizes. Very exciting this year. Of course, the winning team will be receiving 5,000 USD scholarship prize for their continued education. Additionally, this year, our sponsor, Thunderbird School of Global Management, is offering an entrepreneurship boot camp submission. So all top 6 teams will be invited to take this boot camp, which is valued at 1,000 USD per student. It's very exciting. It is to assist you in your continued education. And on a personal note, some of these professors did teach me in my master's degree. They are wonderful. We are so excited that this opportunity has been provided for you. More information can be found on the website, but if you have questions, let me know.
Yes, and one of the Thunderbird, I don't know if he's a professor or the reason why you're receiving this scholarship is he's also a judge. So Philip Thygo from Thunderbird is a finals judge, but he's also the reason why that all top 6 teams and all the members on those teams receive a scholarship, complimentary access to that boot camp. So if you are able to interact with him at some point, make sure to thank him.
Absolutely. Our judges and investor experts highly recommend you interacting with them on any capacity and any level. They are so excited to work with you. We still have about 20 more minutes, so if anyone else has questions, please feel free to input in the chat, raise your hand like Ola did, or unmute yourself. Okay. Question, let's see here. If one of our registered members is not able to continue with us, will that be a problem? Mohammed, no, but if you don't mind emailing me with the name of that student that is not participating, that way we don't send them information, that would be awesome. Let me know if you need my email, and it's in the chat. I hope I'm saying your name right. Vendile, your hand is raised?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, wonderful. What question can we help you with?
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Bandile, yes, from South Africa. I just wanted to ask, wanted to inquire about how do we ensure that our ideas are actually protected from any patent infringement throughout the competition?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that last part? There was a little bit of noise.
I just wanted to know, how do we ensure that our ideas are protected throughout the competition from any patent infringements?
I can help with that. So, this is an educational competition. We do have standards, policies, and guidelines in terms of intellectual property rights that can be found. I believe they're in the handbook, but they're also on the website. Aside from that, it's really, because it's a, I guess, if you will, or cross continent, there's multiple countries participating. So aside from just our simple guidelines, rules, and policies in terms of intellectual property, we will, enforce them as we can. But aside from that, I don't know, Dan, if you have a more concrete way of ensuring that their ideas will be protected aside from what we can do as a global organization.
Sure. Yeah. Again, we do want to make sure everybody knows that when you sign on to the challenge, you pledge to abide by the guidelines, the rules, and the regulations that we support, which include things related to ethics and things like that. But I do encourage you, that it's by the very nature of the competition. In fact, every competition, every challenge that you might participate in, you're sharing your ideas. I do encourage you that if you do think there's something entirely secret, that's one of those things that you probably want to not share more broadly. At the same time you share your ideas, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to drill down and provide access to code that you might be developing, or secrets about processes that you might be developing. Those can be discussed in general, but if there is truly something you think needs to be protected from other eyes, it's probably not a good idea to talk about them too openly as you describe your business. That's the only thing I could say. Although, again, I emphasize that every one of you, by signing on to this, agrees to abide by the standards that we enforce.
Maybe I could follow up, Dan, and say that we on the Peaks platform second that, and we do not, as a platform provider, take any share of your idea or claim any intellectual property rights to anything that's posted on the platform. And actually, your question in the beginning was that if your idea was patented already, then of course you have those protections in place. There will be no additional risk in presenting your ideas on this platform. But it is a community. It's not just submitting your pitch deck to an investor and you can meet under four eyes. It is a community experience, and that's also something that I started in my presentation. You can really benefit from the community side of this challenge because you have all these eyes on your project. But as Dan said, if you have a piece of code, something that really is unique and easy to copy but hard to conceptualize, then perhaps try to describe it in more subtle terms and not giving it all away.
First of all, I want to say that when one debates and defends a motion such as this one needs to appeal to the audiences.
Oh, Amira, I think we lost you. Amira? Oh, did we lose her or is it just me?
I don't hear.
Okay, Amira, if you don't mind typing your question in the chat, I think that would probably be suitable. I know there was a question regarding the boot camp. That link is now in the chat. And then Chiniti from Algeria, I wonder if we shall each time send a video. I'll finish the project and first and send it. So to clarify, there are two videos. One is optional. That optional video is an introduction to your team. The second video is required, and that will be posed at the end of phase 4. And that is basically your pitch. That video is a pitch of your idea versus an introduction to your team. So if there are questions on that, please let me know.
Yeah, and just to continue that, the intro to the team video is open. We want you to be creative. There are no rules or regulations to that video. But the recorded pitch should include, each phase, or at least touch on each of those phases. Also look at what the criteria is that judges will be looking at and judging on, and keep that in mind. So that has a little more thought, I think, that should go into it versus the intro video is really just for you guys to introduce yourself and your team and where you're from, and be creative as you want.
Thank you. When are we submitting the pitch video? So this is a common question, it seems. As stated before, if you don't mind submitting it, it would probably be best to submit it before the kickoff event on March 24th.
Maddie, I think they're meaning the pitch, like.
Oh, the pitch video. Apologies. Yeah. That will be submitted via Peaks platform in phase 4. That is that last date that we told you about earlier in April. I believe that's April. Yep, April 4th through April 10th. That is when you will be submitting that video. More instructions are within the Peaks platform.
And you will be receiving email reminders with deadlines, as well as on the localized platform, we will post reminders with deadlines between each phase. So we'll be communicating about the process as we move along. There are a lot of moving pieces. So that's why it's important to make sure that you're receiving the emails from both Peaks and GBSN, as well as following the localized main competition channel that I showed you earlier, because that's also where you'll have the most up-to-date information.
Charmaine, we did see that message. We're so sorry that your team member has COVID. If you don't mind emailing me with that team member's name, we can remove them from our list. We hope they feel better. Do you have an additional question to that one? Okay, I still see your hand is raised. We will take care of that. Again, we do apologize that they are with COVID. We have 9 more minutes. Does anyone have any more questions? Let's see here. I got a question over email regarding mentors. We will be sending all mentors this recording as well. Okay, thank you, Charmaine. But we will be sending this to all of you as well as your mentors so that they have access as well.
We should also remind the whole group and faculty mentors that we do have a head academic mentor, Professor Ricky Moore from EM Lyon Business School in France. He was a huge influence during last year's competition and is playing the same role. He really is here as a central resource. He uses the Peaks platform in his own classroom. So he has a lot of experience using this, simulation game scenario in his teaching practices. So if you have faculty mentors that would like to connect with him, we encourage that via email or on the localized platform, as well as you students. He is a professor, so he does also love interacting with students. So he is there as our kind of main guide or head academic mentor, investor, chair, etc., as our central resource for the competition. So you'll see, I think we sent his profile in the welcome email, but we'll continue to share information on how to connect with him as well throughout the competition and leading up to the kickoff.
Thank you, Nicole. Do we have any final questions? All right, I see here. I was wondering also when working on these projects, is there a cut on the capital? Like it should be a project that needs capital in a certain range. Aisha, can you help clarify? Or is it open?
I think maybe Peter should.
Peter.
Oh, well, no, I believe you can submit ideas that have any level of capital intensity behind them. So whether or not it's the new paper will cost 50 cents, or if it's a an idea for what new, of course, in another price range, and that does not matter in this regard. You should see the stock market as a voting machine rather than a weighing machine. So it's something that gives you an idea of whether or not your idea is trending within the community. Is it getting interest from all these investor experts or not? So it's more of a, is it going up or is it going down sort of field, rather than giving you a precise valuation. It will not do that.
Thank you, Peter. Amira, I see your hand is raised. I know you tried to ask a question earlier. Let's see if
yes. I'm sorry. Okay. So my question is, during the competition, are the judges going to judge the idea of the project based on how much pain is it solving, and how deep is that pain, or based on other standards? Because sometimes it's like you can see in one community the pain is way more than another community or another country. So which are the standards based on the judges are going to take their decisions during the whole process? Thank you.
So that is a great question, and these are community problems that are being solved. We want to emphasize that we are not judging based on the pain of the community, but rather the solution and the creativity and feasibility of that solution. And that will become more evident as your idea is being invested in and processed and developed over time. But we are not judging based on those problems. What we have been using as a guideline is Agenda 2063, as well as the Sustainable Development Goals. So that is where we're getting most of our focus from. I hope that helps.
Yes.
Yes, of course. John Paul, good day. I want to ask, during the trading sessions, are investors driven by overall market sentiments? Or they take time to understand projects before they support them on the Peaks platform? So I will assist in answering this, and then everybody else jump in, Peter, Aisha, Nicole. So the investors are being introduced to your ideas as you develop them. They don't know your ideas ahead of time. So they are with you as you present your plan for go-to-market, as you present your videos, etc. Nicole, do you want to add? I see you're off mute.
Oh, yes. To clarify too, so all the investors and the investor experts understand that this is a at the core a learning experience. So no, they're not going to make decisions based on their market performance. Their goal is not to be the top investor, if you will. Their goal is to find the best projects and invest in those projects, and to also be a resource to you guys to provide feedback in that comment section. So their main driver is really to help you develop your business concept through the 4 phases by using this kind of investment competition element. But no, they will not be driven by the market performance of themselves or anything like that. So you don't have to worry about that. They will be reviewing each project through each phase, through each investment round, as they make decisions to invest or divest. And like Peter said, it's really just are you doing well or are you not doing well? It's not like that typical stock market environment, if you will. It's meant to be for learning.
Perfect. Okay. Any last minute questions? If two teams are to produce the same project idea, what would be the selection criteria from the judges? This would be a very, very rare occurrence, as we assume that there are many, many communities and many ideas coming out. However, Nicole, do you want to?
Yeah. So, we had 80 some teams last year and there were no overlap. This is also a reason why we ask you for your general business concept in the registration so that we field this. But there are a set of 5 judging criteria. And I noticed it's not on the website, so we'll be sure to circulate that. But essentially it's how, based on how your solution addresses the problem, how you frame your problem. I know, for example, our CEO places emphasis on how that's framed, problem framing, but also implementation, sustainability, what SDG it addresses, as well as just the core components of a business concept, right? Your marketing plan, your implementation plan, et cetera, et cetera. So if there is one idea that is duplicated among 2 teams, the judges will be looking at, those sort of criteria elements and what differentiates one project from the next.
Absolutely. And so far, the presentations and concepts I've read, there are no ones that are too similar to one another. And we will be adding those criteria to the website, and apologies on that. Okay, I think we have time for one more question. Okay.
I'll just ask, we found that there are 2 platforms that we have to create the account on. There are PSQ and I think another one is called Localizer.
Yes.
So you're supposed to open both accounts?
Yes. So to reiterate from earlier in the meeting, you have to email us your team information, Risha, but we will be adding you to Localized and we will be adding you to Peaks. They are 2 separate platforms. And Localized will be used for communications and announcement purposes, and Peaks is where you will be putting your ideas and where the game is set. Nicole?
Okay, yeah, just to emphasize, Alicia, Peaks is the most important, I would say, because that is where the competition is happening. So if your team is not uploading and meeting the deadlines on the Peaks platform, then you're not getting investments. So making sure that all team members are properly set up on Peaks is essential. And then Localized is really meant to be a resource for you. It not only is a place to find information from us as the competition organizers, but you'll have a private channel, as I had showed you before, to work together in. But it's not required to use. You don't have to use it. We highly encourage it though. And again, that main channel will have all updated information, but Peaks you have to be able to get onto because that's essentially where the competition is. So.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for all of your questions. Amazing questions. and amazing participation. We really appreciate it. At this time, if you have any additional comments, concerns, or questions, you have my email to let me know. And I think that all of your ideas are going to be amazing. I think this is going to be a really, really great and interactive competition. And if you need any assistance further, as I said, you have my email. But at this time, I wish all of you a good day, a good afternoon, and a good evening wherever you are. And we are happy to see where your ideas take you. Nicole, do you have anything else to add before we go?
One last thing to user question. Deadline for intro videos, which is just your team intro, March 24th. The deadline for the pitch, the recorded pitch, is at the end of phase 4. It's in April of April 4th, I think. You'll have to look at the handbook. So just to clarify that. And as a final note, we're so excited to see the competition come to fruition. We really want to cultivate this community and have everyone interact with each other. So please do interact on the localized platform. And Maddie and I were talking about maybe putting together a networking activity, maybe halfway through, so that we can all get together again. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, good luck.
Yeah, we will see you all at the kickoff event on the 24th. And thank you again.